Hostile Territory.
Hi everyone and welcome to Hostile Territory. In this video we'll be talking about one of the main enemies of yours in a toxic or hostile workplace, and no, it is not the people around you, it is your own ego. What you're going to hear and see in this video is of course not professional help, no need to say that, it is obvious. I don't know the psychological aspects of all of it, I leave that to professionals. But I know that having a big ego in a toxic workplace will only be a burden for you. In what way? You must understand always the conditions under which you are working. We talked about this in a separate video. When you're working in a toxic or hostile workplace, the people you're working with do not think well of you, do not think about your well-being, nothing of that. They want to get rid of you as soon as possible, or even worse, they want to use you for their own goals and then get rid of you. Your ego can be a major help in that. In what way? I will make an example. There is a project or a job to do, and you can see you can do it better than everyone else. And you go and do it, okay? And you do it brilliantly. And you probably expect something for it. There are two big problems when you do things like that, and they are both egocentric. One is that you expect gratitude for that, which is, I think, egocentric. It's normal, but in fact, egocentric. And second, your ego will be hurt because there will be no gratitude, and you will come to the conclusion that you are used. And having a hurt ego is very bad for your health and very bad for your psyche, I think. That is one example how the ego can hurt you. The second thing is you're gonna get insulted a ton of times. What does that do to you and to your overall health? Every time someone picks on you and says something to you, and that doesn't have to be directly said. It can be, those subtle little things, those stings, rather than someone approaching you and telling you, I don't like you. No one does that, okay? Those kinds of insults. When you get those with a big ego, you will get hurt every time. When I mean hurt, I do not mean literally, of course, but I mean that every time you'll take it personally with a big ego, when in fact, you shouldn't pay attention to it all. All of those insults do not have any kind of importance whatsoever. Trust me, okay? They're only important because that other person is dumb enough to tell you what kind of person he or she is, so you have the advantage the next time something happens, or in a more important situation where you can use that to your advantage, perhaps. So with a big ego, you'll get hurt. When you get rid of the ego problem, you'll live a healthier life within that environment, trust me. Now, one thing I must emphasize again. With a big ego, you'll only end up used. Toxic and hostile people tend to manipulate. In what way? Lots of people in workplaces do not come to work for them to work, actually. They come to manipulate. How do they do that? This is a topic for a whole nother video. They come to work and think how they can manipulate people to do their work for them, while they can do something else, perhaps. Go for lunch somewhere, do something, whatever. The point of their being in that company is not work, but it is manipulation. Egocentric people are like open treasure casts for manipulators like that. Again, I'll make an example. The project is a good example again. But again, I want to emphasize this as a tip of its own because it's immensely important. You're doing the project, you did it well. If that person manipulates well everything, that person has done the project, not you. And all of your work, all of the hours invested, days, months maybe, gone like that, finished. And that other person collects all of the points for that. And there is no one to blame except you for the end of the day. Of course, that person is, bad and everything else. But if you're in a toxic and hostile workplace and you realize it, there's no one else to blame but you. And again, I return to that if you're egocentric, this will hurt also. So Getting rid of the ego will spare you things like these. When you see a good project, you'll stop and see, well, maybe I don't have to do it. What's the benefit for me? Okay, if there's no benefit from it, if I'm not going to get recognized in the management, from the project manager, whatever, there's no need for me in doing that. So that is one more important thing to get rid of ego. The last thing I would like to say about the ego, which is perhaps, the worst part of it, is that overall, if you're an egocentric person in a toxic working environment, sooner or later, that ego will start sort of talking to you. Please don't take this as some sort of mumbo jumbo from my part, but sooner or later that ego will turn against you. It will start asking you questions like, man, are you really that dumb? Look at that person did that better. Or you can come to the conclusion that, and this happens after your years and years and years of being in the same environment where people hate your guts. This will happen, trust me, where you start asking questions. Maybe those people aren't that bad. Maybe they're in fact good. Maybe if I changed my stance towards some things, and that begins with this and becomes the whole arm like this. It grows into big old poisonous tree of bad and above all wrong thinking. That is what your ego will do to you, okay? It will start poisoning you with questions and things. Again, please don't take this as some sort of psychological mumbo jumbo. I'm just sharing, and I've talked to certain people about this. They had the same situation, and I don't know what it's even called professionally. Sorry, but it just does happen. And you start questioning yourself, judging yourself, and the sad truth is that you are doing that to yourself, to the advantage of the other people that hate you. So getting rid of your ego is perhaps the most important because of this, okay? If you don't have a big ego, and if you're confident in yourself, you'll be spared from lots of problems in a toxic workplace. You'll avoid lots of conflicts, and you can take lots of things to your advantage even when it doesn't seem that way. So that's it for this time. I hope this video helps. Please like and subscribe. It's a huge help for what we're doing here. I sincerely hope these videos help. I sincerely hope that they will help you get through tough times. The point of all this is to help you save yourself, save your health. No job, no workplace, no money is worth that. You are the most worthy thing to yourself. Thank you for watching. Thanks for your time, and see you in the next video.